afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of Midweek Chatter with Wonder Girls. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Mabel. Hope everybody is keeping well as we enter our 7th week of Circuit Breaker. Allow me to share a little bit more about ourselves if you are new to Travel Wonder. So we at Travel Wonder is a licensed online and offline travel agency that specializes in active leisure holidays. If you are looking to if you're looking to cycle, hike, or run overseas in future, do keep us in mind. At the same time, we can also arrange other types of vacations like family fun holidays, rest and relaxation trips, or romantic getaway. You can find all these trips on our website at www.travel-wonder.com. So do keep us in mind next time when travel opens up again.
Today, we are happy to have Vanessa from Guide Dog Singapore with us to share more about the amazing work they are doing for their beneficiaries. But before I invite Vanessa online, we would like to announce the winners for last week's chatter. The two viewers with the most engagement during our live session is Mr. Robin Yap and Mr. Johnston Low.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Both of them win a Ihan Carino hand cream each from South Korea. We will be in touch with both of you via private message on the redemption of the gift.
Yes, and this week we are giving the same Ihan Carino hand cream, specially brought back from South Korea. This hand cream contains 6 different extracts, namely loes, licorice, quinoa, green bean, oat, and barley. Taking into account how frequently we have to wash and sanitize our hands nowadays, we need this moisturizer to keep your hands soft and smooth. So keep the engagement up to increase your chances of winning.
Indeed. So now let us welcome Vanessa online. Hello.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon. How have your day been?
Afternoon.
Yeah, so far okay. I started work from home a bit late today because I'm not well. That's why I have my tissue with me. Yeah.
Okay, before we go on and ask Vanessa some burning questions that we would like to share more about our collaboration with Guide Dog Singapore. For us at Travel Wonder, we want members who travel with us to know about the holidays they go on brings purpose. Purpose to the overseas communities by creating job opportunities for them, and purpose back home by contributing a small sum of money towards a worthy cause.
We chose Guide Dog Singapore after we learned more about the amazing work they have done for the visually impaired community in Singapore, despite only having a very small team. We first came across them during a running event called Run for Light. And after finding out more, we realized they really do need as much support as they can get. We will be asking Vanessa some questions that we ourselves have asked during our initial meetup, which are so common questions that the public usually have in mind.
Yes. So Vanessa, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, first of all, maybe just share a little bit about the role you're holding in Guide Dog Singapore.
Sure. I am the general manager. I take charge of corporate governance and oversee the operations at the organization.
Okay.
What are some of the misconceptions people have about the visually impaired?
There are quite a lot actually, but I think the most common ones I would say would be the perception of their helplessness, that they aren't able to do a lot of things, and they need sighted people to do almost everything for them. And also the misconception that when a person is blind, the person just automatically know how to use a white cane. Has it ever wondered to you they need to learn the proper use of white cane? Yeah, they don't just pick up the white cane and automatically they know how to use it. They need to be taught, and there are a lot of techniques involved. And what else?
When we talk about like visually impaired, or when we say blind, are most of all these beneficiaries like they can't see? That means it's like to them their vision is really all blurrish or is totally they can't see anything?
Yeah.
Okay, so for someone to be legally blind or visually impaired, it means that their visual impairment cannot be corrected with the use of glasses. You know, the
Mm.
degree it
Okay.
can be so high that it cannot be corrected by glasses,
Mhm.
or it could be it's not like total darkness that they see. Not like pitch black, but rather they may be able to see some images. So they may be able to see Cheryl, like, okay, maybe that Cheryl has black hair and then fair,
Mm.
but they are not able to distinguish what kind of features you have. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
Then some of them will see distorted figures. Yeah.
Mm.
Or the perception of depth is not clear to them. So the staircase, another step down, but they cannot see properly. And if there's no marking, like the yellow marking for contrast, right? Very zen kind of staircase. Every step is gray. Then they will not be able to know how to go down the staircase properly. Then that's when they need a cane. And also they may see floaters or black patches, or it could be a tunnel view. So only it's like looking through a straw. So only that small tunnel view is very clear. The rest is blurrish. That is why you will see visually impaired people reading magazines or newspapers. They can still, but they will move their head a lot because it's a tunnel vision that they are reading through.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
okay. So
okay.
so it's like some of them are like when we hold up a straw, when we look
Mm,
through the straw, this is how they actually see in their daily life. This is like
yes,
one of the visually impaired beneficiary
condition.
they experience.
Yeah, there are many
Okay.
different types. So this is one type.
Okay. I think we can sort of feel it because I have pretty high myopia. My short-sightedness is pretty high. So if I'm not wearing my glasses or not wearing any contact lens, yes, the
Mm,
vision in front of me is blurry. I
Mm.
probably able to see like Mabel from far because I
mm,
know her.
mm,
I could figure out it's Mabel. But if you
mm,
ask me her features, I don't think I can see at
yes,
all.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's similar.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what our clients
Okay.
are experiencing.
All right.
But some
Okay.
of them really cannot see anything. It's pitch darkness. Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
Okay. Interesting.
So I think that's
yeah.
also one of the misconception,
Mm.
thinking that they cannot see at all. Most of
Mm,
the visually impaired people do have some residual vision, but the residual vision is not functional, meaning they are not able to depend on this residual vision to keep themselves safe. You
mhm.
know, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, I see. So what can we do to assist them then on like a day-to-day basis if we spotted someone with a white cane on the road, for example? I mean, should we go up to them to assist them or, just let them handle things on their own because they are already trained and they know what to do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm, I would suggest this when you see a blind person with a cane, you can approach the person and ask the person, "Hi, sir, do you need my help?" You know,
Mm.
and they may say yes, they may say no. The reason why they say no is because they are in a familiar environment. So when
Um,
they're in a familiar environment, they already have a clear mental map,
Mm,
and they know where they are going, you know,
mm,
and there's no need for them to depend on sighted help. In fact, sometimes when a well-meaning stranger insists on helping them,
mhm.
the blind person may end up getting disoriented. Yeah,
Oh,
because he can't
okay.
see, right? So he wouldn't know if you move him around, his body turns around, then he wouldn't know where is north, south, east, west
Mm,
really. Yeah.
oh,
So it's
okay.
better to leave them alone if they say they do not need help. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Then what I would do is normally I'll just observe them for a while and see that okay, they are really confident in moving on. Then I will leave them alone. I will say I will just leave the space. But some of them may still need help
mm,
because they are in a new environment. So in a new environment, they wouldn't know where the escalators are.
Mm,
Like they wouldn't know their position in relation to the rest of the landmarks in a given space. Like I'm standing here, so where is the escalator? Is it 3 o'clock? Is it 9 o'clock? Or where are the lift? Where is the lift lobby? You know, so that
Yeah.
is when they would appreciate help. So always ask. Don't assume that a blind person needs help. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's
All
good to
right.
know.
Yeah,
Because I
good to
think
know.
sometimes when I see a blind person on the road, I mean, I would like to help, but yet I'm afraid of disorientating him. That's what you have
Mm-mm.
said earlier.
That's a
Yeah,
good thought. That's a good thought. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Mm.
yeah, and if you help, you offer your elbow.
Okay.
You know, they will hold on. They will naturally know how to hold on to your elbow, and you just walk one step ahead so that you can guide them. And you don't please never pull them by the cane. I can't I help you? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So offer the elbow. Walk close to them, but one step ahead because you are leading them, right?
Mhm.
And then just ask them if they're comfortable with your walking pace.
Mm.
Usually, young folks, they can walk very fast, so you don't have to worry. You can walk fast with them. Then
Mhm.
older folks may be a bit more cautious, then they prefer a slower walking pace. And when you're approaching steps, like staircase, you can always tell them, okay, staircase ahead is descending or ascending. You can tell them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And if we are going up, we're using the escalators, you can also tell them escalators, approaching escalators. And those who have received training before, they are confident to use the escalators. They know how to place their hand on the banister, how to position their feet to keep themselves safe. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Colleen, our friend Colleen here, he has a question. Hi, Colleen. Good afternoon. Thanks for
I,
tuning in.
Colleen, how can you have question? You know GDS very well. Make sure
Uh,
you ask the right question.
he's helping us to keep the engagement up, you see.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
So Colleen asked if we help a visually impaired person, where and how to hold their hands, which you have mentioned, hold them by the elbow. Uh,
No, allow them to hold you by the elbow.
sorry, allow them to hold us by the elbow. Then Colleen go on to ask, do we walk on his right
Left
hand
side.
side or on the
Yeah.
left hand side?
Okay, you should walk on the side that he's not holding the cane. So it
Okay.
depends on whether the person is left-handed or right-handed.
Mm.
okay.
So we
Okay.
watch for the cue of where the cane he or she is holding. So if
Yeah.
he is holding on the left, we will walk on his or her right.
Yes. Most of the time, the blind person will be using the cane that is, will be using his right hand to use the cane. So
Mm.
likely his left hand will be holding on to your elbow.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is for white cane user. As for guide dog user,
Mm.
most of the time the dog is walking on the left side of the user.
Okay.
Different,
Okay.
yeah. Then that is when the blind person's right hand is free because the
Ah.
left hand holding on to the guide dog
Yes.
harness, right? So his right hand will be free, and the right hand will be holding on to your left elbow.
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
even if a person, sorry, I'm just
yes, yes.
wondering, a
Mm.
person with a guide dog, we can also approach to ask, whether we can provide assistance.
Yes, yeah. If he is in a new environment, the dog and himself wouldn't know where the landmarks are. But of course, it's a lot easier when they have a dog because guide dogs are trained to recognize landmarks. Like we can tell the dog find the leaf, find the seat, find the traffic light,
Mm.
find the escalator. They know. Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
know. So
Yeah.
that's why in that sense, right, it reduces the need for a guide dog handler to always seek sighted help when they're out there, as opposed to someone who's using cane. You cannot ask the cane to find that. Yeah, but still, if the new place is very, very complicated, they may still need sighted help. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So
Okay.
talking about guide dog,
Mm.
which breed of dogs are suitable to be guide dogs?
The most commonly used ones are golden Labrador Retriever, a mix of Labrador and golden Retriever. They are the
Oh,
best mixed breed actually. And
okay.
in some countries, especially US, they use German Shepherds.
Okay.
Okay.
So most of the guide dogs that we have in Singapore are actually a crossbreed between the Golden Retriever and the Labrador.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So before Vanessa tell us how many guide dogs are there in Singapore at the moment, can the audience make a guess how many guide dogs are there now in Singapore? Make a guess in the comment. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe before you share how many guide dogs there are, perhaps you can let us know where our the guide dogs being trained at.
Okay. A guide dogs are specially bred and they start training since puppies, since they are puppies. We do not train from how should I put it? We do not breed, neither do we train very, very small puppies. What we do is we get young dogs from Guide Dog Victoria, who's currently our very close partner, Guide Dogs Victoria in Melbourne, Australia. So we will get dogs from them. These dogs, to help you understand the reason why we get these dogs at this stage from them, I would need to explain to you how the training is done. So once the puppies are about 12 weeks old, they will be put up with a puppy raiser, and the puppy raiser is a trained volunteer to assess the puppy's potential to be puppies. They will record, all their observations and share it with the school. And also they will teach the puppies some basic obedience like sit, stay, down, and also train the puppies. And they will also bring the puppies to expose the puppies to the environment which eventually the guide dogs will be working in, which means office environment, school, public transport, so that when the puppies are used to this sort of environment, when they are adults, they are comfortable and confident. So we need to condition them since young. And these puppies will be put up with the puppy raisers for almost 1 year. So when it's very young dogs, right, when they return to Guide Dog Victoria, they would be about 1 year, slightly more than 1 year old. And then they will need to go through 5 months of intensive training at Guide Dog Victoria. Yeah, where they will learn how to walk on a harness, walk in a straight line without sniffing, how to navigate through obstacles, how to pause at a staircase, at curbs, how to stop at traffic light, things like that. And then, so this is at this stage we'll get the dogs. That means we get the dogs who have successfully passed the puppy raising stage and identified as potential, good potential to eventually graduate as guide dogs. Because you have to know that during these 5 months of training, some may drop out. So for us, we have to be quite careful. So our guide dog mobility instructor, Christina, she have to make sure that she picks up a dog that proves to have high chance of success. Then she will do the 5 months training in Singapore.
In Singapore, okay.
Okay.
Yes. So now with an in-house guide dog mobility instructor, we can do the 5 months training in Singapore. We used to get fully trained dogs from Victoria, but now we can get those that have finished puppy raising stage and do the training in Singapore.
Okay. That's what Colleen wants to know. Colleen was asking, are there any locally trained guide dogs? So now we know that most of the guide dogs that we have can be trained in Singapore already.
Yeah, so they are defined as locally trained guide dogs.
Okay. Yeah. But they are still bred overseas, just that we bring them over.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like the dogs are like a little bit like our boys going through army. They have to go through like the BMT.
Exactly.
Then after they graduate already, then we start to like after ORD, we start to send them to like the different like units operationally ready,
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah.
So what is the process of applying for a guide dog?
Any visually impaired person can contact us. and tell us that they want to and apply for guide dogs. What we will do is we will go down and visit them and have an informative session to provide them with a very clear reality of what it means to use a guide dog. Yeah, and so that is the information part. They also, before a visually impaired person can use a guide dog, she or he has to have good orientation and mobility skills, which means she will need to be familiar with moving around on their own independently, and they must have enough travel routes. So if someone stays at home all the time, there's no need for them to use a guide dog. Usually a person who wants to apply for guide dog, he has to go out every day, whether to school or to work, or a retiree may go out every day to run errands or social activities. Yeah, so they must have enough workload for the dog as well, and they should have that orientation mobility skills. Then they can use the dog, because the dogs are not GPS. They must know how to give clear instructions to the dog, and what the dog will do is to bring them there safely. But they still need to know their mental map well.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we have some answers here coming in. Joanna Tan, she guessed 10. Then Colin, initially he put 3, then he changed his answer to 4. There's 4 guide dogs now currently. And then Faustina, she guessed 9. So what is the correct answer? How many guide dogs do we have in Singapore?
So I reveal now, is it? Okay. From what we know, there are 6 are trained and graduated by us. And from what I know, there are 2 independent ones in Singapore. So in total, there should be 8.
8 guide dogs.
8. Yeah, 6 are by us.
Okay.
What we mean by guide dogs, meaning they are still working with their handlers, right?
Okay.
So there are 6 working guide dogs that are trained and graduated by Guide Dogs Singapore. But from what I know, there are 2 independent ones. They got their guide dogs themselves. They got the training themselves.
So we have 6 working dogs from GDS. Can I know how many beneficiaries actually apply for a guide dog on a yearly basis?
On a yearly basis, we have quite a lot of inquiries, up to maybe about 10 inquiries. But I think I mentioned just now, in order to use guide dogs, they must know the commitment involved, and they also need to have the right technical skills, right? So end up now we have 4 on the wait list, 4 clients on the wait list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no knowing how long this wait list will take, is it?
Typically, whether it's Singapore or other countries, it will take about 6 months to a year or more, because we got to find the right match. Yeah. But now, right, with the pandemic crisis, GDV, Guide Dog Victoria, is not able to export dogs to us. So we're kind of stuck. Our clients have to wait. Yeah, we are ready, we're ready to chong already. We're ready to go ahead to train the dogs for the clients. But unfortunately, we don't have dogs for training right now. Yeah. So typically about 6 months to a year. That's the waiting time. Yeah.
All right. So do you know offhand, we have 8 working guide dogs at the moment. Do you know how many dogs have retired from the past records in Singapore?
2. One of the dogs is our dog, Esme.
Okay.
The handler is Cassandra Chu. So Esme has already retired. I believe she's 10 this year. So she's living a very comfortable Tai life now. Yeah. And another one is this dog called Niece. I believe she has retired as well. Yeah.
Okay. So is there a fixed retirement age, and what do they do after retirement? Do they stay with their handler, or
they get adopted by another family?
Yeah, okay. So for Guide Dog Singapore, we would encourage the dogs to retire at 10 years old, so that they have enough, senior years to enjoy their retirement. Um, but a dog may retire early if the dog shows signs of slowing down at work. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And what's your other question? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the adoption. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
correct.
So there are various options that we can consider. We will discuss with the handler. If the handler, that means our client, right, is able to have, the family support as well as the financial resources to look after a retired dog, then the handler can adopt this retired dog. Yeah. Because if it is not a good idea to leave the retired dog alone at home for long hours if everyone is working and no one is at home with the dog. So it really depends on the environment and the resources. Or the handler can recommend their friends or relatives, and we would assess this potential adopters' home environment again, resources, to make sure that the dog is going to be in a conducive and happy environment. Then
Okay.
the dogs will be adopted by these people. Yeah. So there
I
are many
see.
many different options.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Okay. So I mean, if let's say your client's guide dog retired, can they request for another guide dog immediately after?
Actually, what we will do is, if the dog is 9 years old, right? And I mentioned just now, retirement age should be 10.
10.
We
Yeah.
will already start to have a discussion with our clients to ask our clients whether you want to consider, using a second dog. And if the client wants to, then we will have to start sourcing for a match for our client, because we want him to have a smooth transition, so that there is no disruption. Meaning, if the current dog has to retire and the client has to go back to using the cane, it is quite difficult for him. Usually, they prefer to continue to use dogs. Yeah.
Okay.
So we would start to look out for dogs, as I mentioned, 6 months to 1 year, right? The waiting time. So we have to start to look out for dogs already. And once we find a suitable dog for him, right, then we will start to train this second dog, right? Then the client's dog will have to be retired. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
immediately he can have a new dog to work with, and he doesn't have to wait too long and fall back to using his cane. Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so now due to COVID-19, right? So how is GDS being impacted? Your operations wise and all that. Because I
Mm.
think you can review training for the for your beneficiaries who use the white cane and all that. So how are you working around these restrictions during this period? Or is like
Um,
everything at a standstill?
Actually, in March, a lot of our clients were not very comfortable to train already. Yeah, we started to see a reduction in training sessions. So
Okay.
we did not train at all in April, because that's when we had a spike, remember, in April, and that's when the
Yeah.
circuit breaker started to kick in. So we did not train at all in April. In May, we don't intend to as well. But in June, we will slowly pick up our training, provided our clients are comfortable. So in the meantime, what we do to connect with the clients is, we make calls to the clients, just to keep in touch with them to make sure that they're okay. And we do our own podcast. So we discuss topics related to visual impairment and COVID-19. And we also do training videos. So far, the training videos we have done are like, how do you make dumplings, especially for the visually impaired people? How do you learn how to use a knife to slice fruits and slicing techniques? How do you cook pasta? Yeah, and they are
Okay.
available on YouTube. So if anyone wants to check it out, you can just search YouTube Guide Dogs Singapore, And even as a sighted family member, right? If let's say, okay, let's say you have a family member who is blind, you can watch these videos and you can do it together with your blind family member. It's a way of bonding as well. Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Out of curiosity, Vanessa, how many people do you have in your team at Guide Dog Singapore?
Currently we have seven people, including myself.
Oh, that's a small team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's very small. Yeah, we used to have 9. Then because the fundraising and outreach side of work is slowing down now, so we are not hiring anyone yet. Until things go back to normal, then we'll start to recruit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I also want to know, because dogs are also a living thing, and their job is actually to look after or to guide or like to work together with the clients. Then who actually looks after the dog in the
Well,
family
yeah.
Oh, you
when
want
they
to
are
make
with
a
the
guess?
beneficiary?
You
I
want to
mean,
make
like,
a guess?
all of us have pets, most of
Yeah.
us will have pets. So I used to have dogs, and then periodically every day you have to either toilet train the dog, or you have to bring the dog out for
Mm.
clearing, bring them
Yeah.
to the what do you call it, the grooming, bring them for
Mm.
haircut,
Yeah.
feed them.
Mm.
So when our clients are already not that convenient, so who actually looks after the dog?
Okay, so usually people who apply for guide dogs, they are fairly independent themselves. That means they're already very confident with their daily living skills, meaning they're able to, do self care. They're able to do maybe simple cooking, domestic chores, very hands on kind of visually impaired people, right?
Yeah.
So when they get the dogs, part of the training, the training of client with the dog working together, right, takes about 3 to 4 weeks. So during this time, our trainer will teach them how you look after the dog. Yeah, and how you should brush the dog every day. They do that every day. They must brush the dog every day. Then showering the dog is also by them. They are
Oh,
the caregiver of the dog. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
family members
Okay.
shouldn't be involved unless the handler
Ah,
is sick,
Mm, mm,
Yeah, so they have to make sure that they give ample opportunities for the dogs to toilet themselves, and we also teach them techniques on how they should clear the dog's poop.
mm.
Yeah, yeah, and what kind of instructions to give to the dog to encourage the dog to poop. We give this instruction for quick.
Oh, okay.
Quick, quick, quick. Then the dog will know. There's some dogs a bit more fast. They are not so quick. They will be a bit slow. But these dogs are already trained from young to this toileting on command, quick, quick. Yeah.
Mm.
So they know
oh,
that when it's quick, quick, and they're at the grass patch, right, they will just relieve themselves. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that there's actually not a lot of work lah. Actually, I feel, yeah, our clients really can do everything and beyond for their dog. They can shower the dog. They know that when their dog is sick, they feed the dog well. They can even cook home cooked food for the dogs. Yeah, very pampered one. And grooming, right? They can groom the dogs, but when it comes to nail cutting, you need precision. So usually they don't do that. They will send the dogs to groomer like once a month for their nails to be cut.
okay.
Yeah. Other than that, right, the rest they can take care.
Oh, okay. That's lovely to know. I mean, this is like something that is like bothering me whenever I hear. Yeah, I mean, like I'm sorry to say that, because they are visually impaired, so their movement is definitely not as nimble as
Mm,
like most of the people. So now with a dog, so who
mm,
actually take care of the dog? So now with your explanation, I think that's wonderful to know, because the dog is just like their partner, their buddy.
yes,
Yeah.
So it's like they look after each other, take care of
yes.
each other.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes.
The bonding that they have with their working dogs. I think that's so wonderful. It's just like any one of us that look after our pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, I just want to, let people know, people who are visually impaired, it doesn't mean that they cannot do many, many things. Sometimes they can figure things out on their own if they are gung ho enough, and practice makes perfect. But they can also shorten their learning curve by getting training from our specialists. So
Mm.
our specialists will give them some special techniques on how they can go about living as normal life as possible. I give you one example, like toiletry bottles, right? Shampoo and
Yeah.
conditioner, and then got body foam in
Mm.
the bathroom. So many bottles, right? How are they going to differentiate what is what? They can't be like touching every bottle, so it's a bit lechy. And sometimes the shampoo and the conditioner come in the same bottle, correct? If they're the same brand.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's the
Similar,
same color
correct.
also.
Yes, yeah, same color as well. So clients with residual vision, if the two bottles are different color, they can make out, right, which is conditioner and shampoo. But if they cannot, then what we tell them to do is to put a rubber band on the shampoo. So the one with the rubber band is the shampoo, then the one without the rubber band, same bottle shape, will be the conditioner.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ah,
And then
okay.
there are also those pop-out stickers that have some reflective light. So clients with
Mm.
some color residual vision, they are able to use these stickers, right? They put on a microwave. Microwave nowadays, everything is very flat, right? So you
Yeah,
can use
correct.
vision to know which buttons to press.
Yes.
So what we do is we put onto the specific buttons, then they know which button to press.
Oh,
These
okay.
are all
Okay.
the different types of techniques lah, that can help them. Mm.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We have some questions here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Faustina asked,
Do you,
does
Do
do
you
you
do
require?
you
require
require,
volunteers?
yeah, volunteers?
Um, I'm guessing Faustina is keen to know whether the volunteering work has to do with dogs. I don't know. Okay, so we do require volunteers, but not so much looking after the dogs. We require volunteers on outreach. That means, depending on what you're confident to do, you can, once the pandemic crisis is over and we can set up educational booths again
Mm.
outside, right, at road shows,
Mm.
then you are you can be one of our booth ambassadors, and you can spread the awareness about our work to people who visit the booths. Or if you love to do public speaking, you can be our ambassador to speak to schools or companies. Yeah.
Mm.
If we run events, you can help out with event booths or logistics. So these are the areas that we need volunteers more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Faustina, feel free to register on our website what your skill sets are, your availability, then we will get in touch with you.
Okay.
We have a question from Lele as well. She's asking, how do you match the guide dogs to their handlers? Will there be any probation or trial period?
Cannot. So there's no probation or trial period. Uh, how do we match? Okay. We usually look at the walking pace. So different
Mm.
clients have different walking pace. If we have clients walk very fast, and they're on, I mean, you first of all, the clients must be assessed to be suitable guide dog handlers. After the info
Okay.
session and their technical skills proven to be confident, then we go and find the dog for them, right?
Mm.
So these clients will be on our wait list, and we will start to look out for dogs for them. We will look at the walking pace. So if a client walks fast, we'll find a fast walking dog for them. Slow
Okay.
and slow dog, and also the temperament. Whether there's a character temperament match, and also let me think. If it's a client that is very adventurous, like to go to different places, then we will find a dog that is as outgoing. You know, some dogs they prefer to do the same thing over and over again, but some dogs are pretty adventurous as well. So we will have to find this character match. Yeah, but most usually we look at the walking pace first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. A
Yes.
lot of knowledge to go that goes beyond what we know.
Yes, yes,
You know. Yeah.
definitely.
Mm.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to us, public? How should we behave when we see a client with a guide dog? You know, I still remember the first time when we saw the organization brought a dog to Run for Life event. Wow, all of us got so excited because we are dog lovers. So whenever we see a dog, we all got so excited, and then we start to see a lot of people rushing there, and then like want to start to play with the dog, pet with the dog. But is that the right way? Will we actually frighten the dog?
Actually, if you're a dog lover, it's very hard to resist guide dogs. I know, right? Sometimes even ask staff, when we see the handler with the dog, and the dog is on a harness, we're not supposed to disturb the dog. You know? We'll go, yeah, we do that sometimes also, especially when we know the dog is very confident. We get distracted easily, you know. Okay, but it's a no-no. So it really depends, you see, Cheryl. If let's say the dog and the handler are walking, right, then obviously they're trying to find their way around, right? So it's better to leave them alone. If you want to approach them, is to ask the handler whether he needs help in getting around, right? But you really shouldn't be distracting when they're on the move, you know.
Okay.
Because dogs being dogs, right, especially Labrador Retriever, they're usually quite friendly. So once you distract them, you are very friendly to them, they will want to interact with you as well, you know. So they need our help to help them focus on their work. Yeah.
Okay.
But if the handler is sitting down, say on a bench in a park, and obviously he's relaxing, right, chilling, not working, then you can always approach the handler and ask him, hi, is it all right if I interact with your dog? Is it all right if I pet the dog? Even though the dog is on harness, but the dog is not working and resting. So that's fine. So but always ask the handler. Otherwise, the handler will be wondering how come the dog is moving around, you know? Yeah. Because the handler cannot see what, so you need to ask the handler. So as for Run for Light context, right? It's okay because the purpose of us inviting our guide dog handlers with their dogs down to the event is for the public members to interact with them. So as long as they're sitting down and they're chilling, you know, we welcome people to take photos with them and interact with the dogs. We have already informed our clients that if this is going to be the case, there's a lot of PR. So our clients are comfortable with that. Yeah, but if they are running with the runners, right, then of course you shouldn't be distracting them.
Yeah. Okay, understand. So are guide dogs generally allowed everywhere in Singapore, or there are restrictions as to where they can go, they cannot go?
Yes, like for example, into any F&B establishments.
Yeah.
Okay. The law in Singapore allows guide dogs to access all the different places, including shops, restaurants, and even hospitals. Of course, you know, not the operation theater and or ICU, you know, yeah, but I mean, hospital is a bit tricky, lah. So we leave it to the hospital management to decide how they want to restrict or extend the guide dog access. But I'm talking about general places like social places. Guide dogs are allowed everywhere and even on public transport. Yeah. Because service dogs are supposed to be allowed everywhere in the country because they are supporting. It is like a aid to the blind person, just like the wheelchair is an aid to a handicapped person, right? So a guide dog is an aid to a blind person. So if you reject the handler with a guide dog at the premises, it's really clearly a discrimination. Yeah, but we also understand that there are people who are not comfortable with dogs. But usually we will try to explain to, say for example, F&B establishment, we will explain to them that these are guide dogs. You know, they are very well behaved. They won't go around interacting with your patrons in the restaurant. You don't have to worry. They will be so quiet that you don't even know they exist. And that's guide dogs are trained since young, right, puppy? They are trained to sit under the table and just nap while the clients are having while the clients are dining. So really, there's no reason to reject the dogs based on your assumption that the dogs are going to be
To disturb the other
disturbing the
patrons.
others, because they don't. Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, okay, now, right, the accessibility and the acceptance level is a lot better compared to say 5 years ago. Yeah, but there's still some places that say no lah, you know, then we will tell them, why don't you check with your management? You know, you may not know that can one, you know. That I know that you want to risk losing your job, you know, you're afraid, but you check with your management first, you know. But usually we tell our guide dog handlers to call up first before they access any restaurants. Food courts, no problem. It's more like restaurants. Yeah, make sure that can go, the people are informed, then go. It's a bit inconvenient lah. But rather than go there and then be unpleasantly surprised by their rejection, right? Yeah.
True. Okay.
Yep.
Can I just say one thing about
Sure.
private hire drivers? You know,
Okay.
flagging down taxis is very, very difficult. And booking private hire drivers like Grab and Gojek is also very, very difficult. The rejection rate is about 50%. Yeah. On a good day, you may get a first booking accepted by a kind driver. On a bad day, right, one of our clients actually faced up to 8 rejections in a row. Was it 7 or 8?
Wow.
It's
Okay.
very bad, no? Then a lot of time wasted. Yeah. So so it's very distressing for the client who have to battle with this on a daily basis. I mean, they will try to take bus and train because no problem, as much as possible. But sometimes if they're in a rush, they will need to get a private hire car, right? So that is very difficult for our clients. So we are hoping that, you know, you all can spread the word around to these drivers, to tell them that these dogs are very clean, they're well behaved, they won't tell you, you know, you don't have to worry about taking them. So hopefully they will be more accepting, over time.
Yeah, we hope some of the private hire drivers or even some of taxi drivers, if they happens to watch this live session, we just hope they know that all these dogs are actually very well behaved. They are well trained also, so they will not dirty their vehicle. I guess that is the most common reason why drivers rejected all these clients with dogs.
Yeah, I think they're afraid that the dogs are not toilet trained.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Lily here has a question. She says that she understands that the guide dogs are well trained and well behaved, but her son is curious about whether do you have instances of like guide dogs will be abused by the handler, and if there are any such cases before.
Not in Singapore, but from what we know, it happened once in Japan. I don't know whether this person read about it on the internet. Not in Singapore. Yeah, usually this will not happen because before we find a dog for the client, right, we would have a good grasp of the client's stability, as in emotional, mental stability, and the character, you know, that this client is going to look after the dog well, then we'll find a dog for this client. If the client shows any signs of like violence or what, then of course we wouldn't get a dog for the client. Yeah, because it is our responsibility towards the dog also to make sure that the dog is well cared for. But if for any reason, right, if it turns out that the client is abusive, then of course we will take the dog back. No questions asked. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So there are, in fact, not enough dogs for the beneficiaries. So during the waiting list time before a suitable dog is graduated or comes available, what are some of the things that GDS does to help all these beneficiaries? like what are the courses? Because just now you mentioned about all the public assume that every visually impaired will know how to use the white cane, but they actually have to go through some training,
Training.
to make them independent, so that they are able to go out of their houses and be independent, just like many one of us.
Yes, yes. So when a person is beginning to lose his functional vision, he will be referred to us by the low vision clinics, by the eye doctors or occupational therapists, and we will work with the client, asking the client whether are you ready to receive help. Usually the patient or the client will reject help because they are going through a process of grief, so they will take a while, like few years, to come to terms with the fact that their vision is going to deteriorate and they're not going to have their vision back, so once they're ready to have to learn new skills, to adapt to their new way of life, that is when we can come in useful. And we will support them in terms of teaching them all the critical, essential skills to help them to be as independent as possible. So what we do is we will go to their home to make sure the home environment is safe for a visually impaired person. I give you an example. Just now we talked about residual vision. Some clients can still make out contrast colors, right?
Yes.
But imagine if you have a white wall and then you have a beige color couch sofa. It's not really obvious. So what we'll do is we'll tell the clients to throw maybe a bright red cloth over the cushion, so they know that okay, this sofa is here, and then the coffee table should be maybe dark in color, so I know that this is the coffee table and won't knock into it, things like that. So there are some home modifications that we can do to make it safe for the clients. We'll teach the clients on how to do, for a start, how to use the white cane in the correct way, how to arc the white cane such that it offers them protection, because the white cane is actually a protection for them. The white cane is supposed to detect obstacles so that they won't fall down the staircase, they will not fall into a drain. That's the use of the white cane. We will teach them travel routes. If let's say they need to go to a nearby market to get their food, then we'll teach them, like, once you come out of the house, you should turn left or right, then how you identify how you go to the lift, and then you come out of your lift, should you turn left, right, should you walk 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock, So after some training, right, the clients should have a mental map already. Then they will be able to move around on their own with the cane. Then once they're confident, they can learn more routes from us. So they'll call us, hey, I want to now learn how to go to church on Sunday, for example. Then we'll teach them. So it's like a very gradual process. We add on more and more routes. So for a client who has a lot of independent travel routes already, then they can apply for guide dogs if they like to.
I see. Okay.
So they transit from using the cane to the guide dogs.
Okay. Yeah, because previously you were mentioning that before you can even apply for a guide dog, you must be a person with a lot of movement. That means you must have going out and not staying at home all the time. That is why the purpose you need a guide dog for.
Yes, so the more the client is active in going out, right, the more skilled he will be in moving around on his own. Practice makes perfect. And the more household chores that he does at home, the more he uses his smartphone, the accessible features, the more skilled he will be. So over time, we have a lot of clients who are so good in technology. They can communicate with emoticons, send you links, send you information, surf the internet for information. They can do a lot of things that we sighted people can do.
Oh, that's good to know.
They even have they can install software reader. That means the software can pick up words and read out to them. That's how they're able to, work in an office environment.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
good to know. So, Mabel,
Yeah.
do we have any more questions from the audience?
I think we covered all the questions already. Yeah, and
Oh,
even more from our chit chat session.
yes. So before we end today's chatter, I'd like to share with you about our virtual travel talk this Friday. We will be inviting Mr. Ryan Kim, representing Jeju Tourism Organization of South Korea, on board to share about this lovely island. I did Jeju Round Island cycling last year and it was an unforgettable experience. Tune in to Travels Wonders Facebook at 9:30 Singapore time to hear all about it live. For next Wednesday chatter at 3:30 p.m., we are inviting Paul Turn of Ultimate Investing to share some basic know-hows on investments and to answer any queries you have about investing your money.
Wow, y'all got very rich topics. Very interesting.
You must tune in for next Wednesday chatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this session will be rebroadcasted and you can find it on our Facebook page later. If you enjoyed today's chatter, don't forget to give us a like, comment, and share. Remember, we have an Ihan Carino luxurious hand cream to be won. Contest will close this Friday, so you can continue to comment and share our posts with your family and friends.
So once again, a very big thank you to Vanessa for your
Thank you,
time in
Vanessa.
sharing with us about Guide Dog Singapore.
Can I encourage people to make donations?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you want to mention
Yes.
it?
Yeah. So we have an ongoing campaign now to celebrate International Guide Dogs Day. It is on giving.sg, giving.sg. You just need to search for Guide Dog Singapore and go to the campaign page, International Guide Dog Day campaign page. And you can make any donation that that you want to, and we really hope that you will be generous in giving to us, because right now there are a lot of events we cannot have. We have to put a stop to, so it has affected our income a lot as of today. And also to let you know that for this campaign, right, when you donate, we are able to get a grant from Tote Board. So the more you donate, the more we can get from Tote Board. So please, donate generously.
Yeah, the link, actually attach the link in the Facebook comment. So if you want to do a donation, just click on that link. It will straight away link you to that giving.sg page.
Thanks,
And if you
Rachel.
want to find out more, I also sign out the link on our care. So we do the write up on Guide Dog Singapore. So you can read up about it there as well.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
Okay.
thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. So
Vanessa.
before we go, probably we take a group photo before we log off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Shall we?
Yes.
Okay, just go at your camera.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Mabel and
you.
Carol.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Bye.
welcome. Bye. Bye, Faustina.